Hello, dear patients. Your favorite doctor here, Dr. Plague. Thinking back on previous academic essays, I had the impression of mentioning the fact that I have never owned a Microsoft console, aka Xbox, but apparently I never did, which is weird given that it's a defining detail about my gaming journey. Well, recently I was taking a look at the original Xbox catalog and found that there were many interesting games there. I'm not a big fan of first-party Xbox franchises like Halo and Gears of War, not because they're bad games, but because they're just not my style. But the new generation of consoles came up calling to my door, and with all the advances, new games coming out, and some kind of retro compatibility, I went ahead and did the unthinkable. I got my first and only Microsoft console, the Xbox Series S. So, after spending a lot of time with it and using my plague investigation skills, I want to share my findings with you. So strap yourself up, get a couple of AA battery packs and join me in this journey. Let's go! Now, if you recall my video about the PS Vita, which you can find right here, I didn't do proper research before getting the console and struggled a lot, although everything turned out just fine in the end. Well, that's 2018 Doctor, and 2022 Doctor is way wiser. Kinda. I did my research with this on an exhaustive manner to make sure that all the old games I wanted to play were there, that I could take advantage of most features, and that it was a good investment. So, sacrificing a bit of good old comic relief, I haven't had a nasty surprise with this console, but that doesn't mean we will not laugh. Not at all. The first thing you notice when you have the console in your hands is that it's very small and convenient and looks nice, like a high-tech speaker. And, of course, the fact that Xbox controllers still have to use batteries is baffling to me. Fortunately, there were two AA batteries included in the package, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to set up the console on the night I got it. The setting up process was straightforward enough, but the most shocking detail is that, for once, I could set up my console and my account with my real location. Oh yeah, we're back to play country facts, baby! With Nintendo and Sony, it is mandatory to create an account in a different location, preferably in the US because the prices for the PS Store in Play Country are way too elevated. But the most concerning thing is that it doesn't have the same selection of games as the US Store, so you're missing out by choosing your actual location. As for Nintendo, well, there wasn't even an eShop for Play Country until very recently, and honestly, I haven't checked it out. But as far as I know, there are very few games there, so no thanks. This is different with Microsoft. The store has the same games, and with the local currency, they are way cheaper than getting them from the American store. This way I managed to grab The Witcher 2 Assassin of Kings for less than $3. The overall user interface of the console is a bit underwhelming, I gotta be honest. I find it way too crowded in comparison to the simple interfaces of both the PS4 and the Switch. Nonetheless, it's not hard to find the main things that are necessary, like the settings, game library, store, and another element I will discuss in more detail later on. Speaking of settings, you can change the colors of the interface. For example, I changed mine to pink because of course it was gonna be pink. Apart from that, there's really not much to do in regards to setting and configurations of the UI. Which leads me to the store because, dear lord, is it hard to navigate. Up to this point, I haven't been able to find an option to browse through all the games in the store, and browsing by genre always leads to disappointment, either because there are missing games or because the games included have nothing to do with the genre. However, the deals section is a bit more organized and the percentages of the discounts are just amazing, and I was able to find all the retro games I wanted. Whoa, it's weird calling OG Xbox and Xbox 360 games retro. I mean, they came out like yesterday. I can feel my bones withering away as we speak. I can already picture some of you thinking, "You're an idiot, Mr. Doctor. Why would you look at the store when Game Pass exists?" And you're probably right. However, not every single game in existence is included on Game Pass, and me being the scholar alchemist I am, I like to dig for the most obscure and arcane games I can find, like Armed and Dangerous and Voodoo Beans Remastered. Honestly, did you expect any different from me? So, to get it out of the way, let's talk about Game Pass. I don't think it is necessary to explain what it is by this point, but I'll do it anyway, because I love all my audience just as much as you love me.
Quiet, you awful man!
Game Pass is a subscription service that includes a wide variety of games to download to your console or PC for free. But the games are not forever yours to keep, given that if they get removed from the catalog, you must buy them if you want to keep them in your library, but you get a nice 20% discount to get it permanently from the store. Of course, having just spent a considerable amount of money on getting the console, I got the Game Pass subscription and started browsing the catalog, and I must say, my jaw dropped through the floor. So many great games, all in the palm of my hand. The Yakuza series, Fallout New Vegas, the Fable series, A Plague Tale Innocence, Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, Grounded, Sea of Thieves, some retro gems like Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Brutal Legend, and some indie gems like Backbone, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, Weird West, Dodgeball Academia, and oh my god, is this real? Fate Tactics? No way! I thought the game was trapped forever in that stinky PC platform. I wanted to play this for a long time. I'm gonna go apeshit and download everything. Well, we all knew this would come. The biggest negative aspect of this so far wonderful machine, the storage capacity of this console is just pitiful. 512 gigabytes, of which you can only use like 300 something? That's nothing! I feel I will run out of space if I install 2 current gen games, come on! This console uses a proprietary memory expanse. Oh no, not this again! But not everything is lost. It is possible to get a normal external hard drive that will work with games from older generations, leaving all the internal storage available for current gen games while I'm able to sell my soul in order to get that storage expansion card. There's another negative aspect of the console, even though that's mainly related to my setup, and that's the fact that if you don't have a TV that supports 120 FPS, you won't be able to make the most out of your shiny new next-gen console. And my TV, well, my TV is so old that it's not even a smart TV, so you can imagine how much wasted potential is in this little speaker at the moment. Which leads me to talk about the games I have tried so far. I had to be very conscious of the storage, so I didn't go crazy downloading everything, just what I found extremely essential, except for Grounded, given that I'm waiting for the full release in September. Now, you know me, you know my style. I was extremely tempted to say that the first game I tried on my new next-gen console that can run games on 120 FPS was a Nintendo 64 game like Banjo-Kazooie. But I wanted to check something more recent to test the power of the console, so I went ahead and tried Sea of Thieves with my friends. And while the graphic style of this game is very cartoony and stylized, when you're sailing on the sea and get to look at the landscape from the crow's nest, it's a beautiful and wonderful thing. Yet I still wanted a full single-player experience to keep me hooked and demonstrate the capabilities of the console, so what was I going to play? Gears 5? Forza Horizon 5? Maybe Halo Infinite? Of course not. I went ahead with a little game called The Gunk. This game was developed by Image & Form, the same studio behind the Steam World series, which is a good sign. It's a simple and actually relaxing game where you arrive at an alien planet corrupted by a weird substance. The game is short, but that works in its favor given that it doesn't overstay its welcome, and I could have a glimpse of the capabilities of my new shiny console. While some might say that there are better games to test the graphic capabilities of the Series S, I'm not particularly into photorealism. I'm a simple man who loves stylized art and aesthetics, and this vibrant alien world work wonders for me. So, after all of this, what is your diagnosis, Mr. Doctor? Well, after 1 month with the console, I can say that it's a very good package overall. While I still think that Xbox doesn't have very good exclusives, that could change with the recent acquisition of studios like Activision. The control is very comfortable despite needing batteries to work wirelessly, but lacks some of the features of other controllers like the Joy-Con's HD rumble and the DualSense's adaptive triggers. The UI is a little bit convoluted, but works fine, and while the store is a bit complicated to navigate, the prices are really good since I can pay with my local currency and there's no catalog difference with other regions. The issue with the storage can be solved with the expansion card, and given that I like to play so many old games, I can get a normal external drive in the meantime to save space. As for the console's power, I have to get a better TV in order to properly test that out, but I have no doubts that whatever I play there will look and run better than on my PS4. And of course, Game Pass is an excellent service that will allow me to try some games that I wouldn't have otherwise purchased or even played at all and find some new favorites. Despite not having been a huge Microsoft supporter since they started on the gaming market, I can say with total confidence that this was a smart purchase and I can't wait to see what the future holds for me and my new console. This has been all for today, my patients. Do you have a recommendation about Xbox exclusives I should check out? Have you had any good or bad experience with Xbox consoles? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, one game a day keeps the plague doctor away. What should I play in the meantime? Oh, I know. I'ma check out Rare's first game with Microsoft, Grabbed by the Ghoulies. Fresh off from working with Nintendo in great games like Banjo and Conquer, I'm sure this will be great. Why does everything I love die?